So as a part of the worked examples from this chapter or the some of the exercise programs that has been given in between the chapters, so we are going to discuss this file here. So if you do not remember what they have asked or what are the worked examples, I request you to go through the previous videos or at least go through the contents from the chapter. So as an exercise here, if you see, they have asked you to rewrite the version of the increment function with respect to the time class as a method. So previously in the previous chapter, what we have done, we have defined the increment function outside the class where we have added the some numeric value to the time class, so which we need to rewrite but as a method in this exercise here. So two more has been given here in this chapter. So you can see here, as an exercise, write an init method for the point class that takes x and y as optional parameters and assigns them to the corresponding attributes. So in short, you need to define an init method for the point class. And similarly, you also have to write a str method for the point class. So we'll see what has been done in this example here, all these exercise programs here. So before that, I just want you to visualize the things here, how it has been done. So you can see here within the class, we have written the definitions or the body of the functions inside the class, for which we say them as a methods instead of the functions. So do remember that if you define the entire functions within the class, those functions are said to be as the methods. So for the class time, we have defined the init, str, add, add time, increment, is after. And for the class point, again we have taken the init method, str method, add point, add tuple. So let's discuss all these methods in detail, how they are invoked or else when they are invoked, and some of the methods are invoked implicitly and some of the methods needs to be invoked explicitly. So do remember that we have used only the two classes, that is class time and the class point here, for which we need to create the objects of these two classes here. So within this main function, if you see, we have created an object for the class time, that is start, and where we have set the values explicitly here, 9:45 and 0 with respect to the hour, minute and second attribute here. So with this class, you can see here we have taken the object with the start dot print underscore time in order to print the values for this class. So here is a print underscore time, so which will accept the object of the class time, and where it is going to print the attributes of this class, so which we have already discussed in the previous chapter. So it is exactly the same way how we did it. So we'll just make the comparison between the different methods here. This method print underscore time needs to be explicitly called once you set the values explicitly. So we'll make clear that how it is different from the str method with this print time method. So basically this first part of the example, that is from the start till the start print underscore time, this is a traditional or the conventional method that we have discussed already with the previous chapter. So let's see how it is different with the str method with the classes and methods here. So you can see here another object has been created for the class time, where the three values has been passed as a parameter here. So this is what is different with the traditional method that has been done in this previous three statements. Instead we have just passed three values here. So this particular statement, that is time is equal to time class of the time 9:45 So here once this statement is executed, you need not have to call any method explicitly. So by default the init method from the class time, this method is invoked implicitly once you execute this statement here. So what is done here is all the three values will be set to these three attributes with the object time there. So followed to that, we have used a print by passing the times. Simply what we have done, we have used the print method, what we use it with the other values in the Python also. So but what is the parameter that we have passed for this method here is the object of a class time. So time. So once this statement is executed implicitly or automatically, you can say it is going to call the str method, this method. So in the previous object, what we have done, we have taken here print underscore time to be invoked explicitly, for which it is going to execute the this part of the code. But once you use only the print statement with the object as a parameter, it is implicitly going to execute the this part of the code where it is going to do the same thing what is done with the print underscore time here. So follow to that, we have the one more method to be invoked here. So a print is used with the time as a object, but one function has been called here as is underscore after by passing the start as another parameter to this function. That means time dot is after underscore after with the start as another parameter. It is going to check whether the time is followed by the start or not. So there are the two time objects here, start and the time. Those two are passed for this function is after. So before printing, it is going to just pass the execution to the is after function here. So if you remember in the previous chapter, we have discussed it by considering the tuples to be made comparison, but somewhat different logic has been used here where we are going to convert the both the objects into the integer, and then you are going to use the comparison operator to get to know whether the self is followed by the other or not. If it is true, it will give the result as a true, or else if it is not greater, it will give the result as a false here. So follow to that, here we have created an object for the different class as d1 as object for the different class known as a point here. So you can see in this statement what has been done. D1 is created as an object for the class point. While creating itself, we have passed the two values here with the class name. So in this case, when this particular statement is executed, so it is going to the class point, and within that class point, it will search for the init method in order to instantiate the object values here. So self is going to point to the d1, x and y are going to point to the two attributes for the class point where the default values is taken as a 0 here. But here the 3 and 4 values has been taken. That means x and y values will be set to the 3 and 4 respectively here. So similarly in the next statement, what has been taken here, print d1 has been taken. So I tell you, do remember here, when you create an object with a class by passing the values, implicitly the init method is invoked, and when you execute the print statement with the d1 object, implicitly str method is invoked here. So it will go to the this part of the body from the point class point. So it will return the two values with the format specifier as a two numeric values, which needs to be filled with the self dot x and the self dot y. So another object has been created, d2 is equal to point 5 and 12, which is again when you execute this statement, again the init method is invoked where the x and values are being set to the 5 and 12 here. So similarly, this is the d2 is also going to be displayed. But in this statement, you just concentrate what has been done here. The print has been executed, but within the print, we want to perform the addition on the two objects here. The addition operator is covered with the two operands, which are the objects of the class point here. That means this plus needs to be overridden here. It is not a simple numeric addition here. Instead, apart from the numeric, you have the two objects. That is what is unusual, but this plus is going to be overridden with the method named as a add here. So with the method named as a add within the class point. So with this method, it is going to again accept the two parameters which are the objects of the class point here, self and the other. But in order to avoid the type based dispatch, which I discussed with the in the previous video, where you can pass the anything apart from the object where you need to check for that existence. In that case, you are going to use the in is instance method in order to check whether the second parameter is an object for the class point or not, the other being checked against the object of the class point or not. If it is true, then it is going to pass or call the another function known as a self underscore add point. So this is the self underscore add point, means the first object being passed where this function is called by passing the another object here, in case if the both the operands are the object here. So you can see how the addition is performed here. So if you remember what is in which way the addition is performed here, this is said to be as a pure function where you are going to create the new object in order to store the result here without modifying the original contents of the objects here. So in this case, you can see vector is equal to point is a new object that has been created to store the results, and it is very easy to perform the addition. We want just to extract the x value from this self object and the x value from the other object and perform the addition and store it in the x coordinate with respect to the vector object, and similarly for the y coordinate, and return this as a object while returning the value. So follow to that, we have the another way where we are calling the print method along with the addition of the one object and the second operator being a tuple here. So you can see this is one of the exercise program that has been given in between your chapter, where you need to write a program to perform the addition of the one of the object as a point and the second operand being a tuple here. So how it is done? So basically it is a plus operator which needs to be overridden if you have the different values as a operands here. So overridden means by default first it will go for the add method that is defined within the point class. So it again it will check for the second operand whether it is a object of the class point or not. If it is a point, it will go for the simple addition with the attributes of the class point. So in this case, here in this case the second operand here is a tuple here. So in this case, we'll see what happens here. So it will check this one. This is not an object of the class point. Then it will go for the second else part if the second operand is a tuple here. So in this case, it will go for the function calling the self add tuple with the other. So here is a function how to perform the addition with respect to the tuple. So it is going to again check whether the second operand is tuple or not. So in this case, it is going to extract the two values. So as a tuple, the two values has been stored, the first value representing the x value and the second value representing the y coordinate value. So you need to just perform the addition here with the self dot x and the self dot y. So you can see self dot x is equal to self dot x plus other of 0 which represents the first value from the tuple, and self dot y plus is equal to self dot y plus other of 1 here, and return the whole as a object. So in the if even if the second operand is not a tuple, then the input format is wrong, or else it will ask to enter the or give the values either it is a object of the class point or the at least it is a tuple. So coming to the next example here. So where again one more time the D1 has been created with the same values 3 and 4. So in this example, I want you to concentrate. This is exactly similar to the this one. Print D1 plus 512 as a tuple, and here what has been in print 512 as a tuple plus D1. So these two are similar, but what is the different here is the first operand being a tuple and the second operand being a object of the class. So basically, if you go through this operator overloading, where always it is accepting the first parameter being a object of the class, whereas the second parameter can be of the any type. So in that case, you might get the error. But how to avoid this error is there is a one more method when it is invoked is when you have the object of the class being a right operand to the plus. Right, so if the object of the any class is being a right operand to the plus, the r add function is going to be the invoked. So do remember that when r add function is invoked is when the object of the class is the right side of the plus operator. So at that time r add is invoked instead of simply add here. So r add, so self dot other, so similarly it is going to add the object to the other values here. So the two values has been printed. So the next one is here you have the one more end of time taken, so where it represents a simple variable of a numeric integer. So start is a object of the class time, and increment function has been invoked for which you have passed a numeric value here. So for which the increment method is invoked from the class time, here it is. So which is going to accept the first parameter of the object of the class, second parameter being a numeric value, that is 1337. So simple addition is performed by once upon converting the time to the integer. So you can see the code that has been taken here for the conversion of the time to the integer value. So this function is called before performing the